When I asked my stepson about the date of his wedding, he said, "I got married a week ago. It was just for close family that got invited." 3 months later, he called. "I didn't get the loan I took in your name, did you cancel it?" I replied, "Didn't I tell you?" Dear viewers, please tell us where you are watching from. If you fancy compelling betrayal and revenge stories, please consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you. My name is Charlotte Gomez. I am 59 years old, and right now I only live for myself, and that is because the one person I trusted, sacrificed and cared for, threw it right back to my face. Where do I even begin? My heart still aches with a familiar throb when I think about it, a dull phantom pain in the place where my love for Michael used to reside. He was my stepson, but I loved him like my own. For 20 years I poured my heart and soul, my time and my money into raising him. His mother, my late husband's first wife, had passed when he was young, and it was I who stepped into that gaping void. I was there for every scraped knee, every school play, every scary nightmare, every heartbreak. I bought him his first car, paid for his college tuition, and even helped with the down payment on his first apartment. To me, he wasn't a step, he was simply my son. My husband, bless his soul, always told me I was too soft, too generous. "Charlotte," he'd say, "you'll give them the shirt off your back and they'll ask why it wasn't silk." I'd just laugh and tell him that love meant giving without expectation. How terribly naive I was. The first crack in my perfect world, the one I had so carefully constructed around Michael, appeared subtly, almost imperceptibly, like a hairline fracture in a valuable vase. He had been dating a girl named Tiffany for about a year. She was difficult, demanding, materialistic, and with eyes that seemed to constantly calculate. I tried to like her, truly I did, but there was an unsettling coldness about her. Michael, however, was utterly smitten. He saw her through rose-tinted glasses, deaf to my gentle warnings, blind to the subtle shifts in his own behavior, so I had no choice but to accept her. For me, I will do whatever makes my son happy. But then, as the days passed, Michael started spending less time with me. Our weekly dinners became monthly, then sporadic. He wouldn't call, and when I did, he'd give excuses like he was busy, promising to call me back when he is less busy. But he never called. I didn't think much of it. I felt he was a young man trying to build his own life, so I believed him when he told me several times how busy he was. I mean, a mother understands, right? Then came the engagement announcement. Not from Michael, oh no, I heard it from a distant cousin. My heart sank. Why hadn't he told me? When I finally called him, trying to keep my voice light, he mumbled something about being busy, about wanting to tell me in person, but it just hadn't happened yet. I brushed it off, trying to be understanding. He's a young man in love, I told myself. He's just overwhelmed. I immediately started planning the perfect wedding gift. His dream house, a $350,000 house in Knoxville, Tennessee, a generous check of $1,000. I sent him money to pay for the hall, called a caterer to agree on the price while waiting for the date from Michael. Bought the gifts that would be shared to guest. I wanted to surprise him with all these. I needed him to have their dream wedding, and I wasn't going to hold back. He was my son after all. I had always dreamed of seeing Michael walk down the aisle. I got a beautiful green dress while awaiting the D-Day. Imagining my place of honor next to my husband's memory, watching my boy start his new life with the love of his life. Weeks turned into months and still no invitation arrived. No mention of a date, a venue, a guest list. My phone calls to Michael became shorter, more strained. He'd say, "We're still figuring things out, Mom. It's all so stressful." Tiffany would sometimes chime in from the background, a sharp, dismissive tone in her voice. "We have it handled, Charlotte, you don't have to worry your old head." So I let them be, waiting and hopping for the date of the wedding. One Tuesday morning, while scrolling through Facebook, a photo pop up on my feed. A wedding photo of a couple who looked like Tiffany and Michael. The lady was in a stunning white gown, arm in arm with the man, beaming. I didn't want to believe what I was seeing. That Michael got married without telling me, without me present on his biggest day. So I picked up the phone, my hands trembling so violently, heart beating too fast. I dialed Michael's number. "Michael," I managed, my voice a thin whisper, "when is the date of your wedding?" There was a pause, a beat too long, filled with a rustling sound, as if he were contemplating telling me. Then his voice, devoid of any warmth, any regret. "Mom, we got married last week. It was just for close family that got invited. You know, a small, intimate ceremony." The words hit me like a physical blow. My heart stopped for a second, like I had lost my breath. Like my heart would fail me and stop beating. What I had just discovered was the worst betrayal a mother could ever endure. My eyes weren't deceiving me. The pictures I saw were indeed Michael and Tiffany's wedding. The word replayed in my head, close family. For 20 years I had been his mother, his confidant, his financial support, his emotional anchor. And now I wasn't close family. The stepmother who had raised him, who had loved him unconditionally, was not deemed worthy of witnessing the most important day of his life. I don't remember what I said next, only that I ended the call quickly. My eyes strung with unshed tears, but a different emotion began to simmer beneath the surface, not just hurt but a cold, hard anger. It wasn't just about the wedding. It was about years of subtle slights, of taking my generosity for granted, of treating me like an ATM with feelings. I saw clearly now. He didn't want me. He wanted what I could do for them. That evening I sat in my quiet living room, the wedding photos still seared into my mind. I thought about all the sacrifices I had made, the dreams I had put on hold for Michael. The times I had stayed awake to wait for him to get home in one piece. And for what? To be discarded, deemed unworthy by the very person I had nurtured. My late husband's words echoed in my mind. They'll ask why it wasn't silk. A new feeling started to bloom in my chest, a strange mix of hurt and a steel-like resolve. Enough was enough. I had always been the soft one, the understanding one, the one who always gave. But that woman had just died. A new one was being born, forged in the fires of betrayal. I started reviewing everything. Every bank statement, every loan, every contribution I had made. It was then, as I meticulously went through the documents, that I stumbled upon something that sent a chill down my spine. A notification for a new line of credit, approved just 3 weeks prior, with my name on it. The notification had been sent from my bank along with other mails, but I hadn't checked it until now. But I hadn't applied for any loan. My heart pounded. Michael, it had to be Michael. He had access to some of my personal information from years ago when I helped him with his college applications. He must have used it. I immediately called my bank. My bank manager confirmed it. A $700,000 personal loan had been taken out in my name, using my social security number. The funds had been dispersed into an account that, while not directly mine, had been linked to Michael's earlier accounts for a previous car loan that I had secured for him. He had used my excellent credit, my spotless financial history, to get himself money, without a bother to ask me. The anger was no longer simmering, it was a roaring inferno. This wasn't just a slight, it was a criminal act, a profound breach of trust that shook me to my core. The wedding snub was a wound to my heart, but this was an attack on my very security, my future. I didn't call Michael, I didn't confront him. The Charlotte who would have pleaded for an explanation was gone. Instead, I called a lawyer. A well-known lawyer named Sarah Dovers, known to be fearless in the courtroom and unshuckable, loyal to their clients, often taking on cases others wouldn't dare to touch. Recommended by a friend, I laid out everything, the years of generosity, the wedding betrayal, and finally the fraudulent loan. Sarah listened patiently, her expression unreadable. When I finished, she simply nodded. Charlotte, she said, we can fight this. Legally, he's committed a loan fraud and an identity theft, but emotionally, are you prepared for what this will mean for your relationship with him? I looked her dead in the eye. My relationship with Michael died last week, Sarah, when he told me I wasn't close family. Now I just want what's fair, and I want him to face the consequences of his actions. Sarah made me understand the gravity of what Michael had done. For using my SSN to apply for a $700,000 personal loan, Michael would face a potential sentence of 5 to 20 years in federal prison. He could be fined to pay me $250,000 for damaged credit, legal fees, and emotional distress. Also, the court might seize his properties, including his house, the one I helped him get. Sarah guided me through the process. We filed a police report for identity theft and loan fraud. We contacted the bank, providing all the necessary documentation to prove I had not authorized the loan. The process was slow, painstaking, and emotionally draining, but with each step I felt a renewed sense of purpose. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about self-preservation, about drawing a line in the sand. This was about reclaiming my dignity. Meanwhile, Michael and Tiffany were living high on the hog. Social media posts showed them on an extravagant honeymoon, then remodeling their home. I knew with a certainty that chilled me, where at least some of that money came from. 3 months passed. 3 long, silent months where Michael did not call, did not text, did not try to reach out. The silence was deafening, a testament to how little I truly meant to him beyond my financial utility. Then one afternoon my phone rang. It was Michael. His voice was no longer arrogant or dismissive. It was tinged with a frantic edge, a tremor of panic. Mom, I just got a letter from the bank. It says the loan I took in your name was cancelled. Did you cancel it? Not only that, I got a mail that I had been sued for a loan fraud. Did you really do it? I took a deep breath, savoring the moment. This was it. The culmination of months of quiet suffering, of steadfast resolve. My voice was calm, steady, devoid of any emotion. The old Charlotte would have wavered, would have stumbled. But the new Charlotte, the one forged in betrayal, was unwavering. Didn't I tell you? I replied. A long silence stretched between us, punctuated only by Michael's ragged breathing on the other end. He was processing. He was realizing. Tell me what, Mom? What are you talking about? His voice was rising now, a hint of his usual entitled indignation creeping back in. Didn't I tell you, Michael? I continued, my voice gaining strength, that you only get one mother. Didn't I tell you that love is not a transaction? Didn't I tell you that family means loyalty, honesty, respect? And didn't I tell you that I would always protect myself, especially from those who seek to harm me? He stammered, but, I am your son, your family. I needed that loan for the house and to get Tiffany a car. Now, Michael, I said, you are not my son, I am not your close family, remember, you said it yourself. As for me suing you, it was my credit, my good name, and you used it without my permission. That, my dear, is called fraud. The line went dead. He hung up. He knew. He finally knew that the well had run dry, that the ATM had closed its doors, and that the woman he had so carelessly discarded had finally stood up for herself. The aftermath wasn't pretty. There were angry phone calls from Tiffany, threatening legal action, accusing me of being cruel. Michael tried to manipulate me, sending tearful voicemail about how I was ruining his life. Michael showed up at my doorstep one morning. He looked like he hadn't slept in a long time. His eyes had this shallow look, like someone slipping into a hole. My boy, my once sweet boy. Mum, how can you be so wicked to your own son? His voice, high-pitched, startled me from my thoughts. You are sung your son, your family, because I didn't invite you to my wedding. Come on, how petty and wicked can you be? I looked at the young man whom I had raised with my sweat, the one that I had gone out of my way to see that he became the man he was today. The nonchalant tone he used said it all. In fact, it rid me of any guilt and pity that was left inside of me. Did you just say family? I am not close family, remember, or did you lose your memory already? I am not your family, Michael, you never took as one. Even when I did my best to be the best mom to you, what didn't I do for you? Show me a love that is greater than the one I showed you. All you could do was throw it back at my face like it meant nothing to you. How ungrateful can you be? You have gotten the mail, make sure you show up at the courtroom, I said. And with that I slammed the door on his face. Sarah, my lawyer, handled everything. The bank completed its investigation, affirming that the loan was fraudulent and cleared my name. Michael faced legal repercussions. First, he was asked to pay a fine of $200,000 to me or risk going to prison for 5 years. His house and car were seized by the court, with his name already in the federal record for identity theft and loan fraud. Michael would not be able to get a loan until after 10 years. After the judge verdict, I felt a sense of calmness. No guilt, no beaten conscience. He had gotten what he deserved. I know it wasn't going to be easy for him, but I cared less. With the house gone and the extravagant lifestyle all gone, Tiffany filed for a divorce. In her words, she couldn't stay with a broke man. It wasn't the life she envisioned for herself after all the dreams she had of living in comfort, wrapped in luxury, and never having to worry about tomorrow. So with everything gone and Michael in debts, there was no reason to stay. As for me, it took time. A long time for the emotional scars to heal. There were days when I missed the old Michael, the boy I had raised. But then I would remember the wedding, the cold dismissal, the audacious fraud, and the pain would sharpen into a reminder of why I had to do this. Today my life is quiet, but it is mine, free from the emotional blackmail, the constant demands. I have rediscovered myself, the woman beyond the role of mother who provides. I now travel the world, I spend time with friends who truly value me, and I invest in myself. The last time I heard about Michael, I was told he now lives in a shelter, hugged by the cold of the night, eating from the most dirty place, the dustbin. I learned a painful but invaluable lesson. Sometimes the greatest act of love you can show yourself is to walk away from those who constantly take from you without giving back. And sometimes the most powerful words you can utter are not screams of anger, but a calm, unwavering truth. Didn't I tell you? Indeed, I had. And I hope in his own time Michael would finally understood. It was the last lesson I would ever teach him.